Hi guys, it's the 20th of December and today I just want to take a few minutes to share with you something that I believe will change your perspective on life and that will help you in this new year of 2019, and that is the acceptance of the fact that you and I, our narrative is in our control. And by that what I mean is, though there are certain aspects of our life that we don't control or don't have control over, we control how our story is seen by us and by others. Unfortunately, we all think and believe sometimes that our life is what happens to us and we have absolutely no control on what happens. So if there is something that is devastating that happens in our lives, or something that brings about a lot of heartbreak or hurt or anger or feelings of jealousy, we think that we have no control over things, that these things happen to everybody and somehow this particular thing was supposed to happen to me, and that becomes our story. But it doesn't have to. There are plenty of stories that you hear that are all over the internet that tell you or show you that people with the exact same circumstances, people with the exact same situations that they're going through, are reacting or behaving or living their lives in a different way, a completely different way. And that is because each and every person has taken control of their narrative and taken control of how they are seeing a particular situation and how they are therefore reacting to that particular situation. Now, what is a narrative? A narrative is the way a story is told, and the narrative differs from person to person. For example, if you think back to your childhood and think of a memory that you had in your childhood, and if you ask 5 other people, maybe your parents or your siblings, about that particular memory, each and every one of them will have a different perspective on that memory. They will tell the story in a different way. Now, the story is the exact same, the situation was the exact same that you went through, but the way you saw it, the way they saw it is completely different, and you will realize that people pick up on different aspects of memory. They remember certain things that probably you didn't pick up on, and so that's the way people are. We see things differently. We have the ability to see things differently, but we don't exercise that ability, and we're not often told to exercise that ability because we're told to accept circumstances, we're told to not fight circumstances, we're told to react well to circumstances. But just saying that is not going to help someone who is feeling absolutely devastated by a certain news that has come their way. Instead, the only way they can react differently to that circumstance is if they change the narrative, if they change the way they see that circumstance. Because only when you see things differently do you behave in a different way. If a person is seeing that event or that circumstance as something that is really bad that is happening in their life, obviously they're going to behave as if something really bad has happened in their life. So the key to changing your reaction to life, the key to controlling your narrative, is to see your story in the way you want to see your story. If you see your story as a story of defeat, if you see your story as a story of vulnerability, if you see a story as a story that is not that great and not that awesome, that is how you're going to walk through your life, and that is how you're going to behave in your life. You're going to behave like a defeated person, you're going to behave like a vulnerable person, you're going to behave as if you do not matter. And then people also treat you in the same way because that's the story you're putting out there. But when you change your own narrative, you can't change your circumstance, but you can change your narrative. And when you take control of the things that you can take control of, and that is your mind, the biggest thing that you can control is your mind. And when you control your mind and you tell your mind that this is not the end of my life, this does not mean that I am not good enough, this does not mean that my life is a waste, this means that this is just another challenge on the way, this means that this is teaching me something, this means that I'm learning this means I'm better at this than anyone else around me because they haven't been through the situation. And when you think of your life as that, your entire perspective changes, your entire mindset changes. And as I said, I think in my yesterday's video, when you change your perspective about things in your life, you open up your life for joy to come in and happiness to come in, because you are taking that time to change the way you think about circumstances that you cannot change. And when you change the way you think, I think the first thing that happens is you change the way you react. Again, we keep telling ourselves that this is the way I am. I react to this situation in this way. I can't change anything about that. I say to that, that's not true. You can change the way you react, you can change the way you behave, you can change the way you think. All of these are connected. And when you change the way you think, when you change the way you're thinking about a particular thing, you are able to then change the way you are reacting and change the way you are behaving in that situation. And then that kind of changes your life, because you are not seeing life through the lens of disaster, but you're seeing life through the lens of opportunity. And when you see that opportunities are everywhere, and you see that there is an abundance of things that you can learn from life and you can give to life, your entire life changes. You become happier, you become more fulfilled, you become more satisfied with your life, instead of craving for a life that you might not ever have, because that's not your life. I've been saying a lot in these videos to own up who you are, to own up the life you have been given, because that's the life you have been given. So I just wanted to take this time to tell that to you, if nobody has told you this ever, that you control your narrative, and the way you see your story, the way you see your life is up to you. It is not up to anybody else, because I think if you don't control your narrative, if you don't control how you see things, people will tell you how you see things, and they will put it in your mind that this is how you should see things. And most of the times that is not very helpful, though people are very well intentioned when they give advice. But when you don't know how you feel about certain things, people will tell you how you feel about certain things, and that's not the best advice to listen to. So know how you see your life, know how you see circumstances in your life right now. Think about what it is that you think of as a problem, and then try to look at it from a different angle and find something beautiful in it. It's like taking a picture. I read this somewhere and I really love that image in my mind, that it is like taking a picture. Every problem, every situation can be framed in a certain way, in a way that makes it look beautiful, in a way that empowers you, in a way that makes you feel fulfilled, that makes you feel as if you're getting something out of life and you're giving something into life. And so every problem can be framed in a way that is lovely and beautiful to look at, and your job is to find that perfect frame. And I'm hoping that this new year will be one in which you see that you have the power to control your narrative, that your story is not just defined by what you previously thought it was, not just defined by your circumstances or situations which you feel are unfair or not good. It is defined by how you choose to see your story, and that defines how you live your life.